Good morning, you guys. It's Andrea. I know you can't really see me. Here, I'm here. Can you see that? I I can't figure out how to turn the camera back and forth while I'm videotaping. So I'm going to videotape my breakfast, and we'll do it this way because this is probably what you need to see. But anyway, Dano asked me a while ago, do you eat the same thing for breakfast every day? And I said, yep, pretty much I do. And partly that's because I'm not much of a cook. I'm a utilitarian cook, but I don't love cooking. And also it's because I'm a creature of habit. If I find something I like, I just kind of stick with it. I was never much of a breakfast eater until I started working out at Hatova 3 years ago, and I work out early in the morning. When I get home from the gym, I'm super hungry. So this is something I put in my belly so I can get the kids out the door and get on with the day. We call it flat egg here, I think, just as opposed to a fluffy omelet when we're cooking the eggs a different way. So I'm starting with 1 egg scrambled with 1 serving, that's 3 tablespoons of egg whites. I like the egg whites because they help me get some more protein in without adding a lot more calories or any of the other macros that I don't need. I have trouble getting enough protein in my day. I was a vegetarian for almost 20 years, and now that I eat meat again, it's just different. The textures are different, and the amount that I can eat is different. It just all feels really different. So I try and find other ways that I can tolerate to get more protein in, to get my protein intake up. So I've just poured the scrambled egg and egg whites into a little omelet pan, and I use a lot of salt and pepper. I think one of the keys to eating well and healthy with just simple foods is to use a lot of seasoning. And I'm just gonna let that set up and kind of get rid of that wet look. Really what I'm doing is just making a really thin, like an egg tortilla. And I think Steph was telling me that she does something really similar in a bigger pan and kind of flattens it out, and she'll make a bunch at once and then freeze them and then just pull out and add like the fillings that she needs, roll them up burrito style, and I think that's a great way to go as well. So you can add whatever you want to this to kind of boost the flavor, or in my case today I'm gonna boost the protein, and I'm gonna add cheese and ham. I bought this cheese at Costco, and it is really delicious. It's really yummy. It's like sheets of something similar to Parmesan. But then I measured it out. I weighed it for you just so you could see, and I don't always measure or weigh my food, but I think it's good to get an idea of how much you're actually eating. And I have found that I'm usually surprised that what I think is gonna be a tiny bit actually ends up being a lot. So this is a 1/2 ounce of deli ham. And then I also have a 1/2 ounce of the cheese that I was just talking about. And as the egg is cooking, I just put that on there and let it get heated up and through. A lot of times I will use veggies, whatever I have left over in my fridge. I'll chop up white or red onion, bell peppers, spinach. Any of that in there adds a lot more flavor, again, without going too crazy on the carbs or overloading the calories. So this only takes a couple minutes before it starts to get kind of that drier look on top, and it gets kind of golden around the edges. And then as soon as it will come up from the pan, I gotta see if I can do this with one hand here, but I don't want to overcook it. I don't like it to be cardboard, but I don't like it to be runny either. I'm kind of a kid that way about my eggs. I don't like them to be too mature. So then I'm just gonna flip it. I'm just gonna flip it in half, but like an omelet, and fold it and just let it finish cooking and kind of melt together. So it only takes a couple minutes to do that, and that is the basis of my breakfast. That's the protein that I have pretty much every morning. And then to finish it off and like to make a meal out of it, I will usually add one of these things. I will either have a piece of toast with butter on, because I just love toast. I just really love it. But I buy this lower calorie, lower carb, fit and active multi-grain bread from Aldi. There are other similar brands out there that are a little more expensive, but I think it's really good. I mean, it's soft and it tastes like bread, and it's probably not something you're supposed to have on this challenge because, I don't know, there's probably some sugar in there. I didn't really read it. Or I will have Greek yogurt, which this is my favorite one because it has a lot of protein while keeping the calories low. It does have artificial sweetener in it, so it doesn't have sugar, but it's also not actually all natural whole foods, but it's good. Or I will have half of an apple with low-fat peanut butter on. You could get natural peanut butter, I'm sure would be better. This is a low-fat version that does have some sugar in it, but I don't really have a big peanut butter preference in my life. I do like a really good apple, and I usually have only half of an apple because apples are pretty high in natural sugar. It's kind of a sweeter, carbier carb. So I try and limit myself to half, but also because there's so many people in this house that usually when I'm making my breakfast, somebody will walk through and go, ooh, apple with peanut butter, and eat half of it anyway. So that kind of helps me keep my portion size down. You can get a better carb punch, better macro punch by switching to green apples, but green apples don't taste as good in my opinion. And they also remind me of the one time that I went on a cruise and I got seasick, and the very sweet steward kept visiting me all night long and bringing me green apples, which he kept telling me were going to be good for my tummy. And then he told me how he eats a lot of green apples every time he gets on the boat because even after all his many years working cruises, he still gets seasick. And then all I could think about was him all night and how he should be sleeping in the overcrowded belly of the boat. Well, it was just bad. So I kind of stay away from green apples, but if you like them, you should surely try them. And that's my breakfast, or my lunch, actually, since I work from home. That would be something very common that I would make for my lunch too. I usually have this at least once a day at some point. And it's as easy as that. If you have any questions, you can sure ask, but I hope you're having a great day, and I'm excited to be on this challenge journey with you. See ya.
Bye.